Hi, I'm Nolan. I'm a professional MMA fighter and United States Marine Corps vet. I recently had hand surgery at University Orthopaedic Associates with Dr. Doumas. I actually started fighting when I was in the Marine Corps. I was watching the fights one day and I told my buddies that, like, dude, I could do this. You know, like I was getting in fights all the time in the Marines, like with other Marines, and in a good way, in a good setting. DM'd a promoter and he set me up with some guy and I fought him and I won and fell in love with it ever since. You know, I made a promise in the Marine Corps to my buddies that I was gonna make it to the UFC. That's the last promise I gotta keep, you know.
My name is Doumas. I'm a hand and upper extremity specialist at University Orthopaedic Associates. So Eric and I connected because I reached out to him after I found out what he did for a living right now and was interested to seeing some of his videos and things like that. And so I reached out to him on Instagram because I realized he was a Marine. And basically for the past 4 years, I run the Marine Corps Marathon down in Washington, D.C. To raise money for a charity. I respect the Marines a ton, all military, but especially the Marines I have a deep connection with. And we just developed a little bit of a relationship over that.
So I injured my hand in the first round of one of my fights. I immediately knew it was broken. Following the fight, the pain was unbearable. I had no motion in it, and I knew right away something was up.
Eric broke the base of his thumb. All right, we call it, some of them are called Bennett's fractures. His was more advanced with more splits in it, called a Rolando's fracture. And it was also very fragmented, so it was a very displaced, fragmented fracture at the base of the thumb. The only thing to do for this is to fix it surgically, to get it back as anatomic as you can get it, and to get it as functional as possible.
The day of surgery was really easy. I was very comfortable going into it, and the staff made sure of that. And I woke up, my hand was fixed, and felt good after.
So after surgery, we put him in a brace instead of casting him so he could start to move quicker because we were confident in the stability of the fracture. He rehabbed himself great. He was in therapy and had trainers working with him, so he was able to strengthen a little bit earlier than most. And he pushes the limit, and he's just dedicated and disciplined to what he does, and he did a great job getting everything back. Because of his dedication, discipline, getting back to as much range of motion as he could quickly, he was allowed to strengthen a little bit earlier as well. Once we could do that, he was basically getting back at a rapid pace.
At first, getting back into fighting, I was a little nervous. I didn't really have the strength or the confidence in my right hand that I did before I broke it. But after a while and following the recommendations of Dr. Doumas, I was back in there in no time, and I started getting my confidence back, and I trusted the surgery, and I trusted that it would hold up, and it did. And then I actually recently won my last fight in Philadelphia by knockout. I think after that, I knew the surgery went well, and everything about it is good because my hands feel fine.
So I think the great thing about Eric was that his discipline and his motivation to get back to doing what he loves to do really brought him through quicker. You know, he was able to go back in 3 months, where some people might have taken 5 or 6 months to get back to all this. But it's because of that motivation that he was able to get there so quickly.
I highly recommend Dr. Doumas. I could just tell that he really does care about your recovery, whether you're an athlete or a veteran. Anybody that's broken their hand, I could tell you from my experience, it was great. It was a lot easier than I thought it would be. Through and through, he's in contact with you, and you could tell that University Orthopaedic Associates really do care about your recovery process.